Ayete, Tozan bantwana bekhaya. OmBethe. So I thought I'd just come visit with you. It's evening. It's ebusuku. Not even evening, it's nighttime when I'm making this video. So when I'm having conversations with the elders. And as we are having these conversations, one of the question gets posed. One of the questions that get asked enkundleni ithi, how far let's put it like this. Yeah. How far does your definition of your ancestors stretch? I hope that makes sense. Like how far does your definition of that which you call the ancestors, how far does it stretch? And we raise this question purposefully, intentionally, as always. Uti, you know how we define things really gives you a glimpse of what it is that you are working with or what it is that you are involved or engaged in. When you have a definition of something, then even your level of engagement will be according to that level of understanding. So thina singena ngaleyo ndlela leyo ukuthi how far does your own definition of your ancestors stretch? Is it the typical abantu abadala sebalele, they once lived here, some of them are old, going back however long our bloodlines have existed, and yeah, abalele, and that is the general idea or the general masses conception when they come to Amatonga or the ancestors, and this is another thing that it's hitting me now, Uti. Tina as abantu, I feel like we have these two definitions when it comes to that, where when I'm talking about the ancestors, we're talking about those who have passed on, and when I talk about Amatonga, it will also fit in that realm, but somehow it seems like there's a difference in our own interpretations when it comes to labuktua ngamatonga nalaba that we call our ancestors, where we only limit our definition to say our ancestors are those who have once lived only, or our blood ancestors only, who have once lived and now they've passed on and lived in another dimension, and this is where we would also at this point like to stretch it a bit to say that being true, but that is not the only limit, that is not the only parameter, that we can capture these beings or these people that we call our ancestors. Sure, there are those who once lived amongst these shores. Sure, there are those who have passed on and have joined the other ranks of spiritual living. And the stretch part for us now is the point where there's a teaching that is becoming very prevalent out there, where people are talking about this substance or molecule that they call melanin, you know. And um, you can read up on that, but the essential teaching, the essential aspect, at least that I would like to point at this point, is they say that this substance, this molecule, is the one that is most abundant in all creations, whether it's in soil, whether it's in people's eyes, whether it's in the food, whether it's in the stars, whether it's in the animals, whether it's in the plants, whether it's prevalent in the universe, you know, our galaxies and other worlds and stuff, you know, but it's very prevalent. Young says where now you will find other teachers who will tell you, Guti, this molecule or this melanin is actually a technology in itself, you know. But where we want to focus at is at the point 80 now. If this substance is the one that they say is also predominant in black-skinned people, you know, or Africans, if I may put it like that in the colloquial term, you know, is prevalent. So it does then suggest that this person or these people are connected, Manjalatiza, with the natural order of things. And that being the case, then this is where we are coming in and saying, then do we not think then it is to limit ourselves to only put our ancestry at the point where it is only those who have passed on and who once lived and passed on, while our genetic makeup is telling us something different, where it's saying as old as the universe has been, our people have always been there, or our gene pool or our gene memory has always been there, you know, because we are one of the great carriers of this particular substance that is prevalent in the whole galaxy, as it were, you know. So would it also not then make sense then to say our ancestry does not only stop with the people who gave birth to us and we are here because of the result of them, but it also suggests that plants are some of your ancestors. The waters of this planet are your ancestors. The mountains are your ancestors. The streams, rivers are your ancestors. The rocks are your ancestors. You know, going out further, the sun, ancestor, the moon, ancestor, the different stars, star systems, ancestors, you know. And this is where I would just like to hold it at that moment in time to say, this is what I mean when I'm asking the question in the beginning, Uti, how far does your own definition of your ancestors stretch? How far does it stretch? Because the parameters in which you hold those definitions is also the level of your interpretation to whatever realities that you may encounter and see, you know, which will either be to your benefit or detriment. So we were just coming through in this window to just say, in our travels, we have come to understand ukuthi, the parameters lezesinikezwe zona ukuthi what the ancestors are. You know, amathonga ethu noma amadlozi wethu does not only is not only blocked in the parameters of bloodline and gene pool, but also the living world, as it were. Also, the living world is part of our ancestor. You know, this is why you will find Nasebnyangeni, we will have students walk barefoot. You understand that it's them connecting Nabogogo. You know, it's them connecting with the earth. It's them finding or feeling the natural vibrations of the earth. You know, the whole science of grounding. but in essence, it's them also speaking to the gogos, speaking to the ancients, speaking to the memories of the earth, speaking to um, the storylines that have happened in certain places and all of those things. So it is a whole entire science where we are saying now, sometimes Abotwasa will come in and think that when we initiate them into the ways of the ancestors, it is only at the level of just dealing with genealogy, kupela, and this is not the case. Bantwana bakagogo, this is not the case. you know this is where we are also saying, you just have to look at ibhayi lomngoma. It has a sun on it, and frankly speaking, ilanga, idlozi, it's a principal force, it's a principal entity of nature, imvelo, bantwana bakagogo, sikhumbuleni ukuthi singabantwana bemvelo. So our first language needs to anchor us back kuyo imvelo, bantwana bethongo. So when we are speaking to ancestry, we were just trying to merely show ukuthi there are also these dimensions that we also look at, or we look into when we are dealing. Ngiyangithola ukuthi other families within Idlos Labo, the Dlos is a predominantly water energy. You understand? So sizothi hayi fanele nina nidibane namanzi, kancane kancane, ukuvuselela or manienze izinto zenu. It's speaking to that ancestor, it's speaking to those energies. How we got to it being about fishes and mermaids and all of those things. Yeah, all of those things do exist, but we are just at that fundamental point where we are saying we when talking ancestry and amadlozi and all of those things, you are talking different dimensions of existence, or for lack of a better word or expression, even though it's within this time frame eyempilo sikuyo, but these are different vibrations or angles of manifestations of the total, that show, or others are able to go into and look, in this multiverse of chaos. Thokozani bakagogo nabomkhulu. So we were just opening up your mind, mntana kagogo, ukuthi it's important that you understand the definitions that you carry for yourselves, and especially at these fundamental things as empilo bakagogo, because now you'll just have that word club mindset, abogogo, ama-ancestor ilaba bebaphila kudala nebashonile manje ngale, and they've turned into angels or demons, whichever one, and we are saying it is not only limited to that. And I'm hoping that this window is able to trigger, expanding and getting a deeper understanding ngezinto zethu ezesintu, bantwana bakagogo. In saying, sicela ukubuya, bantwana bakagogo, how far does your definition of your ancestry stretch? How far does your own definition of what ancestors are stretch? And how far they stretch? See you on the other side. Thokozani, OmBethe.